Good morning. My name is Melissa Johnson, and today I'm going through the task response with my 11th grade student who I have named Jane Doe. So first I want to say good morning to Jane and her family and let you know that I'm happy to be your teacher and excited to be working with you today. The information that I've been presented with has been Jane's ACT scores, which I have here. I noticed that she did fairly well in ELA. All of her English language arts scores are relatively close to where they should be, if not above. Her math and reasoning scores were a little lower than what I might expect. So the cutoff being 22, and she scored around 19 in math, 18 in science. So I went through those two subjects to decide what we needed to tackle first. And the part that I felt like we should concentrate on was statistics and probability, along with integrating essential skills and modeling, which I feel like can be incorporated into that statistics and probability. So the lesson plan I came up with would be something that I would use in my own classroom if I were still teaching in a classroom, which would be that modeling skill where students learn more teaching someone else than they would just learning about it from a teacher. So the first thing I would do is sit down with Jane and we would go through her online textbook together. So whatever the lesson or lessons were that cover statistics and probability, we would go through it together, read it together, discuss, give her plenty of time to ask questions, and then we would utilize any video or media type links or resources that we had so that we could solidify those concepts in a different way. After that, I would have her take whatever brief quiz was at the end, and then she would walk me through her answers and reasoning, and then we would grade it together. That would take probably 30 to 45 minutes, which I've shown here. Once she felt comfortable with the information learned and she got a score that we both felt like on that quiz that was a very good score, or at least passing, something that she felt comfortable and confident with, I would have her teach that lesson to me. So we would switch roles. She would become the teacher, I would become the student, and she would walk me through all of the text, all of the lesson that we'd gone through together, the links. I would have her explain it all to me as if I had never heard any of that information before. So after that was all done and I asked my questions and we had discussion, I would have her give me that same quiz following the lesson. And then we would discuss my answers, and if she had at any point not explained it, or I did poorly on one section, she would explain to me how she might fix that. And I would provide a lot of encouraging feedback so that I could make sure she felt confident with that material before we moved on to something else. The last thing that I would do would be our next meeting, which I assume would be the next week. I would have her either retake that short quiz or take another one over the same information so that we could make sure she didn't forget anything, and make sure she still felt confident with that subject area. And then the final assessment would be having her retake that ACT, which I wouldn't do until we had covered all of those math and science standards that she needed to work on. But at that point, I would have her take a follow-up ACT so that we could look at those scores and see how much she had improved specifically in the areas of statistics, but in all of the areas that we've planned on covering. That is something that I would do in my actual classroom, but it is something that I believe would work really well one-on-one with a student like Jane, especially with math concepts. When you have a student who doesn't feel very confident with math, you need to offer a lot of encouragement, a lot of chances for questions, and a lot of time and to get that confidence level up to make her feel comfortable with the material. So that is my first lesson plan for Jane in the area of statistics and probability. Thank you.